I'm Jonny Dubowsky with the Rock and Renew Foundation. We founded the Rock and Renew Foundation 3 years ago to address the small things that we can all do to fix and heal the planet. Now, looking at the larger science of climate change, you can get into quite a discussion, and you can also debate the pros and cons of various types of work. That's not what the Rock and Renew Foundation focuses on. We focus on a plan of action for the planet that everyone can do, especially the youth. The energy of children, students is incredible. It's contagious. And so we focus on small actions that anyone can do, that there is no debate whether there's a goodness to those actions. So things such as ditching paper and plastic at the store and using a canvas bag, stopping the use of plastic water bottles, which leach toxins into the water and also take up a lot of fossil fuels in the creation of the container, using a clean canteen, driving 10 miles less a week, eating one less meat meal a week. These are all things that you might not think as an individual that they have a lot of great effect on the world, but if millions of us do these small, simple actions, it actually yields an incredible amount of change. So we're a collective action movement that we're really at the center of. So here on the Big Island of Hawaii, we are trying to educate the youth here as to what goes on in New York City and vice versa, because it's such a different environment here. We've got such a lush and green, expansive land here. And the particular project that we're focusing on today is a watershed restoration project. Now, we have in Hawaii and in New York City quite an old storm drain management program. The sewer systems were built about the same time here as they were in New York City in the early to mid 1900s. And when it rains, any impermeable surface such as concrete or asphalt will take the rainwater, and where 100 years ago the natural hydrologic process was that when it rained, the ground would absorb the water and it would recharge the aquifer, and what little pollution did occur was swept off to rivers and streams, but it all happened in a natural process. Every square foot that we build with impermeable surfaces, we're taking away from the natural hydrologic process. And so we're interrupting the watershed, and we're also contributing to pollution via the stormwater runoff. So you got to look at the rainwater as a vehicle, and that vehicle can pick up toxic hitchhikers along the way. So as that water is running along the road or running off your roof, running into the gutter, it picks up the pollutants, the motor oil, the fertilizer, all of the things, the dirt and pollution on the ground. It attaches to the water and it makes its way into rivers and streams and eventually into the ocean. Some cities have watershed restoration programs where they actually do some sort of filtration on the storm drain system, but that filtration is mediocre at best, and it is certainly overtaxed by the increasing development. And that's why we built this rain garden here. And we also have a sister rain garden project in Bayonne, New Jersey, which is about 12 miles from New York City. All of these projects essentially do the same thing. They infiltrate, they detain, they cleanse, and they restore the water to the watershed. So the infiltration occurs when you are just figuring out the natural flow of water off the road. You want to infiltrate it. You want to kidnap that water flow, and then you want to detain it into a dugout graded garden area. That will then allow the water to absorb into the soil, and it'll allow the plants to use their capillary action and their photosynthetic process to absorb all those pollutants and cleanse them. Then it recharges down into the aquifer and the watershed. So you might be questioning what you can do of this nature on a rooftop in New York City. We don't have a lot of plantable land to do such a project. You know, it might be only 10 square feet, but in New York City, that space is at a premium. So what we've done here today that can be replicated at Columbia Grammar, it can be done at any school in the country, even at your home, is we've just taken a simple planter barrel. And in that planter barrel, we've lined it with a layer of gravel and a layer of sand, a layer of dirt, and then a layer of rich fertilizer. We're using manure here because we have it. You can just use some compost or mulch. And then we've planted some riparian plants that are meant to live in the flooded conditions. And then here you'll see we put this tarp up just to speed up the catchment process. That is an impermeable surface that we've literally put there as a device to help our water flow. So what we're going to do with this barrel is a similar thing, just a little tiny, almost like a shed to catch the water and put it into the planter. The higher way that you can do this project is if you were to actually take the gutter off the roof of the building and put it into a garden like this or into a planter barrel like that. So I hope that that gives you a little bit more information on how you can do something really small like planting a garden to help restore balance to the earth. Remember to rock and renew.